Two, hello. Two, hello, check. Check two. Saw a new Trump nickname today. Comb over Caligula. I regret to inform everyone that that's working for me, actually. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. How are you doing, chat? How's it going? Welcome. Welcome back. Welcome back. I'm here again. It's another day. Another day, another dollar. Another day, another number going up. How are you all doing? Last night I had one of those nights where I got lots of stuff to make. Lots of stuff to cook, plenty of stuff. And I was like, you know what? What if I ordered $50 worth of delivery food instead of cooking anything? Of all the stuff that I have. What if I did that instead? And that's what I did. I ordered from the Turkish restaurant that I usually go to. But I got a pizza from there. I've always been wondering what those pizzas are like. And I got a pizza with like donor meat on it. And chicken wing. No, and then so not only am I ordering food rather than cooking, but then it's just like it's so evil. There's the little button to add on. Oh, do you also want 10 chicken wings and some drinks with this? You know? And there's just one. It's so diabolical. You just press one little button. One little button press. And it's like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I do. Yeah, actually, that sounds pretty good. That sounds pretty good to me. I'll cook tonight. I'll cook tonight, it's fine. Brendan, what's Portillo's? Portillo's. What's that? We don't got those here. Chicago chain with Italian beef and hot dogs and shakes and whatnot. Sounds fantastic. I'm just in full summer mode right now. Like, look at this outfit. It's just absurd. Full summer mode over here. And you know what I watched? What movie I watched with my large delivery order last night? I watched Furiosa. And I immediately really regret not seeing that in the theater. In fact, I watched the Mad Max movies this summer because I wanted to see Furiosa and I wanted to watch some of those Mad Max movies first, which I had never really seen that much of. And oh my god, Furiosa is so fucking good. I think it's really a shame that like that conversation around that movie just became about like box office. You know, I think it should have been a huge hit, but like it's weird that was the only conversation about it. Oh, it flopped or whatever. It's so fucking good. Oh my god. Yeah, Hemsworth as Dementis in this movie is just incredible. I think probably the best Mad Max villain, actually. And the best he's ever been, definitely, in anything that I've seen him in. He's pretty good as Thor, but he's just unbelievable in this movie. He's so great. All-time screen villain for me, Dementis in this movie. Rob will make me watch Furiosa. Who are these naysayers, Diego? You're mentioning on Twitter the naysayers. Who's naysaying Furiosa? It's fucking fantastic. Hemsworth, born to be a freaky little weirdo, forced to be a Chad superhero. That's true. It's the dilemma. And I don't know if this is a hot take even. I don't know if it's a hot take. I thought it was I liked it more than Fury Road. Is that crazy? Like Fury Road is great. I really enjoyed it. But I really liked it because, like, Max, like the character Max in the Mad Max movies, like his arc kind of takes place off screen. Ludin, you haven't seen it. You just 2 seconds ago you said you haven't seen it and you are not going to see it, and then you're saying it's crazy for saying something. I'm sorry, you have to see it first, though. That's the rule. That's the rule. You have to see it, and then you can weigh in on that and whether that's a hot take or not. But yeah, like you see like Max's like character arc play out in the different movies. I really liked in this though seeing you see the art, like the whole character arc from the beginning. It's all on the screen. But then how is it a turd? It's George Miller. It's fucking George Miller. It's the guy. What is the problem exactly? Anyway, I don't want to argue with you about this movie you haven't seen because I really liked it. Fury Road is not a Max movie. It's a Furiosa movie we see through the eyes of Max. I guess that's kind of interesting. I guess I really liked seeing the arc like all on the screen, like from childhood to seeing her become that kind of person. Hemsworth is amazing. I really liked Anna Taylor-Joy in it, honestly. I wasn't sure if she was going to be able to bring the presence to that kind of a role, and I thought she crushed it. With all the physicality, she barely talks in the whole movie, and I thought she was just tremendous. I really liked Praetorian Jack as well. He was a really cool character to throw in there.
This is some guy, Rob Russo, some leftist based in Canada. I was turned on to this sick individual, and I found this.
Benny, hello. Thank you for the raid, Benny. Welcome, Raiders. Thank you for joining. What is up? It's me, Rob. It's nice to talk to you. It's nice to talk to you. How's it going? How are you doing? How was the stream today? I like Furiosa more than Fury Road, says Ulik Kel Drama. And I agree with that. I really liked Fury Road. I have them both rated as 4.5 stars on Letterboxd. But I really enjoyed Furiosa a lot. I really liked it. Really regretting not seeing that in the theater. I saw people on Twitter saying like, "Oh, it's got like a love story. It's the only movie with like a love story." And it's like kind of. It takes up like what if you want to call the dynamic between Praetorian Jack and Furiosa a love story? It takes up like 7 minutes of screen time, maybe. Like that's all. I don't see what the big fucking problem is. And he was really good character. Man, What a picture. What a picture. And I can't stress enough. I like how I've seen some say they hated how goofy and unserious Dementus was. Yeah, like Lord Humongous was the pinnacle of serious badass. Yeah, I think that's a bizarre criticism, honestly. Yeah, and Lord Humongous is fucking cool. You know? No taking nothing away from Lord Humongous. But like, I think that's a weird criticism that he's not serious enough. And it was like, I thought it was as a villain character way more nuanced actually than a lot of other villains that you see in those movies. Great shit. Furiosa. If you haven't, don't let the naysayers affect you. Get to see this movie. All the Mad Max villains are absolutely straight-faced, not theatrical at all. Yeah, I mean, I remember watching it, like I saw Road Warrior for the first time earlier this summer because I wanted to watch Furiosa and I wanted to get caught up on the Mad Max lore. And I felt, even though the one of the main like bad guys, the guy with the assless chaps, I can't remember what his name was. He's certainly like an evil, mean guy, but I felt bad when he lost his twink. He lost his devoted twink. I was saying this earlier this year, like when I watched this movie. In the desert apocalypse, good twinks have got to be really hard to come by. Good loyal twinks, and I really felt for that guy when his twink was killed. It's a good loyal twink in the outback wasteland is tough to come by. You know? Most tragic death in any Mad Max movie. It was sad. I really felt for that guy. Whomst among us wouldn't be sad if we lost our twink? It's just you can't not relate to that. You just can't not relate to it. Rob's given this a lot of thought. Twinks are important to him. No, I'm just saying, like in an outback apocalyptic survival situation, you know? That's a vital resource. He was angry out of justified grief. The guy was already pretty angry, to be fair. Like, he was already pretty outrageous. But that was my night last night. I watched Furiosa, I ate my pizza and chicken wings. Leather daddies galore, but twinks are a rare resource. Exactly. It's like a drop of water in the desert. There's enough leather daddies to go around. You know, that's not a problem. There's no shortage of that. Pizza and chicken wings. It was from the Turkish restaurant that I often order from. They make really good sandwiches, which I get usually, but I had really been wanting to try the pizzas that they make, and I got a pizza like with donor meat on it. And I was saying earlier, now I'm just repeating the same bit, but that like super evil, insidious thing on Uber Eats when it's just there's just one little button. It's like, would you like 10 chicken wings as well in addition to the food you just ordered? And it's like, yeah, I do want that. Opening up a fourth town in the wasteland that only hoards twinks. Twinktown. Twinkville. I'm the warlord of Twinkville. That's where you keep them all. You can trade them for other things. Twinktown will quickly rise as the most powerful power broker in the wastes. Exactly. You had bullets, gas, and twinks. There's two, actually, the Twink Cities. Oh boy. Have you tried the Iranian spot down on Sherbrooke near NDG? I saw they had the Shah's flag up, but maybe the monarchist could be cool. Probably not. I probably wouldn't talk to them about politics. I don't think I haven't tried it. No, there is an Iranian, little grocery store and bakery, which I do go to sometimes. I got donuts from there yesterday, but Spatula City location in Twinktown. Man, loved Furiosa. I don't know if he'll get a chance to make another one, but it would be great to bring Charlize Theron back to do a sequel. Maybe try setting up your post-apocalyptic society in a better biome. Seriously, yeah. If you thought, why don't you move to where the grass is? What are you doing out here? You're in the desert. There's only 3 places. There's Bullet Town, Gas Town, and the Citadel. Those are the only 3 places. What if there are more places, though? Maybe there's more. Maybe if you go to like where the water is or where the grass is, you might find some more stuff, even. No, I haven't seen Twisters yet. I do think I'm going to. I do think I am going to go see Twisters. Maybe this weekend I can go see it. Go for IMAX? Really? Okay. I'm hearing good word of mouth about Twisters. And I love Twister. I was very skeptical about a 30 years too late Twister sequel. But I'm hearing good things. If I was stuck in Gastown, I'd merely regenerate my biome seed with a different number. Classic mistake. Rookie mistake. Alright, I'm going to do that. I'm looking forward to sports coming back. When does NFL season start? In August? I feel like it's strange actually. The last couple of nights, like I've been parenting so much this summer that I now have like a little bit of time away from parenting, and I just really don't know what to do with myself. I finished the stream and I just kind of like, I'm like a sim, like I'm like a broken sim. I'm just like walking around my apartment, just like looking at the wall, turning around. There's no idea what to do with myself. I originally watched Twister on a bus in Saskatchewan highway with storm clouds gathering. To be honest, we were all pretty scared as teenagers. I think I saw... I can't really remember, but I think I saw Twister in the movie theater in the 90s. The 90s were pretty boring, you know. We didn't really have the internet yet, so it's just like I went to see like every major movie that came out. I probably saw it in the theater. 95, I'm pretty sure I saw Twister. I was already a big Bill Paxton head at that time. I saw it in the theater first run, not even $1 movie. I saw so many movies in the theater in the 90s. You used to be able to go to the movies for less than $5, drinking popcorn included. It is like absurd how expensive it is. And people in the movie industry scratching their heads. How do we get people to go to the theaters? Like, I don't know. Maybe if you could go for like less than $50 for like 2 people to go see a movie and get a goddamn bag of popcorn, maybe more people would want to go. I don't know. Maybe more people would like to go if it was like not absurdly expensive now to do. I saw Inside Out 2 with my son a couple weeks ago and got some like candy and popcorn and drinks. And it was like $60. It's like, what are we doing here? Lower the price of your shit and people will go more often. This is the thing that I don't think big corporations understand this concept. They don't understand this concept of like, maybe if we earned less money per thing, we would actually make more because more people would buy the thing and it would make up for the fact that we're making less per thing. Maybe we've turned the price knob too high because we want more money, that it's preventing more people from doing it, and we're actually making less money. You know, no one seems to want to make this connection. We could actually lower our prices and make more money. It's a crazy concept. Raven, no, I don't have cargo pants. No. Oh yeah, like that's right, Low Data. That's definitely a good point. Like the ticket prices are fully to the movie studio. It's the concessions are the only way that the theater makes money to pay for labor, electricity, rent, repairs to the building, etc. But both sides should lower their prices and raise their pay. No, I mean that's true. So it seems like everything, we got to lower the rent as well. Like, I think the government needs to step in and just be like, rent costs this much now. And then the movie theaters can pay less. And then they can lower their prices. Like in the drill tweet, when turning the price knob, they forgot to keep looking over their shoulders at the audience, gauging their response. It's exactly. Not well read enough to be a commie. I'm a bore and therefore just jelly. I've done a little bit of reading, but I am pretty jealous. I'm not gonna lie. I am pretty jealous of other people's success. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I'm not. Movie theaters don't need to make money, they just need to exist. Let's nationalize tomorrow. Yeah, I agree. Couldn't agree more. Public movie theaters, just like the library. And you can use if it turns a profit, you can use the profits to pay the employees. So the actual employees of the movie theater who are doing the work, projecting the film, selling the popcorn, selling the tickets, selling the candy, they can earn a good living. Paying employees, that's crazy. It's crazy talk. I know. I know, it's pretty wild. Pretty wild stuff. Imagine making art in the form of moving pictures purely for the love of it. Imagine what could be. And also having like working class people that could make art as well, you know? That would be kind of cool, right? If you wanted to be a painter or a poet or a filmmaker or a playwright or a screenwriter or a novelist or a painter. I don't know if I said that already. Whatever it is, and you could just do that instead of having to work a 60-hour-a-week shitty job as well. and we didn't just leave the whole arts to be managed by this like class of failed children and nepo babies. What about that? What if it wasn't just rich people that could make art as well? That would be pretty wild, wouldn't it? All this talk of commerce is making me think about the fact that I'm watching DS9 for the first time. Good Trek. It is very good Trek. I know our friend Mistress of Insanity is watching DS9 as well. I love DS9. I'll always be a Next Generation guy because that's what I grew up with. I love DS9 though. It's very good. Seriously, the first year of film school is just there to teach you terms and crush your dreams. Yeah, it's just it's silly the way that we and it's like then it's like so now we're creating robots to make our art as well. You know, if you're poor, you still have to work a shitty job, but don't worry, we've got robots to make the art now, so you don't even need to think about it. Just go do your job. Just go put in your 40 hours, your 50 hours, your 60 hours, do your job, shut up, and just go and watch your slop that's going to be made by a computer. My favorite type of guy is the guy who complains about how there's no good movies, TV, games anymore, but also makes fun of people who pursue art degrees for being poor. Yeah, exactly. You should have gone to STEM. You should have gone to business school. How do you think this stuff works? Like, honestly. And it's the same type of person that promotes like AI art as like the future. Now you don't need to be creative. You don't need to do anything. Now anyone can make art, even if you're a brain dead, like uncreative fucking slob. And that's the thing, like I've talked about some of this technology. I think some of this technology is kind of cool when it's being wielded by actually creative people to like take their vision and try and like do stuff with it, you know? These people that do not have a creative thought in their mind, being like, now we can make movies, now we can make art. No, you can't. No, you cannot. I've always wanted to easily make things that look like shit. Yeah, exactly. Now, finally, I can concentrate on my job as a dishwasher. Good thing it's on a space station because DS9 has so many damn fine ships around it. That is true. My grandpa was one of those, if they don't like being poor, they should start a business, but you can never get past that whole, if everyone owns a business, who's going to be your employee bit. That's how they get you. Yeah. Just start a business. Oh, okay. Yeah, easy. No problem. I'll just go to the business store and pick out my business, and I'll just start a business. I'm going to go to the business store and look through all the different businesses, and I'm going to select the business that I want to do, and then you have a business. Technology has potential when in the right hands. Machine learning models have been better because of ordinary people putting in work compared to the clunky large ML models. Yeah, like I'm not militant about this kind of stuff. I think that there can be a kind of potential to this technology when it's being used in conjunction with actual people. I try to tell my son this too, because sometimes we mess around with like the AI art stuff. You know, it's like it's kind of cool. He has an idea for like a superhero or a comic book or something, and we can put in some prompts and create some images and we mess around with it like that, you know, and it can be kind of cool. But like I tell him at the same time, it's like you need to have creative people. Like this kind of stuff is cool, but you can't rely on this to be creative. You need to learn how to draw and learn how to animate. You know? These machines are never going to replace human beings. Like that's what makes this stuff. What did I miss? We talked a little bit about Furiosa and how we're all in agreement that it was really good, and we all are in agreement that it was a really awesome movie. And now we're just kind of shooting the shit. The AI art stuff is just stealing from artists. Yeah, and there's that element. Like, again, if you're using AI art to make like a comic or something that you're then like selling to people, I think that's maybe a bit tricky. If you're just dicking around and like making some stuff to entertain yourself, I think it's maybe less morally messed up. Start teaching him to edit images now. Photoshop, GIMP, whatever you can get a hold of, really. It's crazy the animations that he's doing. Like, it blows my mind, honestly. He's 8 years old. The animations that he's been working on. We got him, like, the Galaxy tablet that has, like, an animation program on it. He's making some really cool stuff with it. It's really cool. Which is, you want regular people to be able to make art, or are they too stupid and they shouldn't? No, I think regular people that are creative and have a creative vision and a passion to make art should be able to do that. I think uncreative STEM brain tech bro dipshits that don't have a creative thought in their minds should just stay away from it. That's what I mean. And the thing is, a lot of regular people, even if they are passionate and creative, if they don't come from some kind of generational wealth, they're not able to take the time that they need to learn how to be to learn how to express that creativity. You know? That's why it creates this really problematic dynamic where the only people that are able to take the time that you need to practice and get better and learn are people that already are independently wealthy or comfortable. And there's lots of regular people that could be fantastic artists that just never even get a chance to explore that because it's just not possible for them. You'll need to watch The Art of Seeing if you haven't. I know this came up the last time we had this discussion, so I think I probably should watch this because it seems really interesting. There's a neat little way to encourage regular people to get into art on a deeper, passionate level, and it's called Raising the Standards of Living. Yeah, and also being taught in schools as well. It's the arts are the first things to get cut from public education as well. So yeah, there's the living standards do need to go up, but also the arts need to be a central part of public education. Music and art and all this kind of stuff. I think AI stuff could be really fun and useful, but these tech bro assholes have made it fruit from a poisoned tree. Yeah, I think that's the frustrating thing about it. Is it's being controlled by these, like, libertarian fucking losers. And there's the whole environmental aspect as well. I mean, we have seen a lot of that. I feel like probably the military-industrial complex is more of a problem than, like, computers making weird pictures. But yeah, it's probably good to just, like, maybe find a way to use that technology that doesn't completely just destroy whatever chances we have of, changing our energy consumption. And it's true. Looking at all the climate initiatives that are put in place from places like Google, they're just blowing past them. Like they're completely just abandoning any like climate or emissions targets because now they're all in on this AI technology that's completely just like destroying the planet. But what if we can't commodify it? That's what it comes down to, doesn't it? Who's going to be the first sub to get on the board today? Always a little weird getting almost 45 minutes into this thing. Who's going to be the first sub to break the ice? So close. Taiwanese farmers were forced to grow less rice because the AI chip manufacturer needed water. Yeah, that's probably not good. That is probably not good.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Ames 94. You did it. You broke the ice. I appreciate it. Very cool. Thanks for the 19 months tier 1. No money for subs, but I can convoy a couple of twinks your way if you play your cards right. Let's take this offline. Let's take this conversation offline. Okay? We don't need to get into this right now. We have a new Microsoft AI data center going up in southeast Wisconsin. Going to be great for our water situation. It's not like that's going to be it's not like access to clean, fresh water is going to continue to be a problem in the future. It's just something that's just in abundance all over America. So let it rip. Let it rip. Canada's keeping it fresh for us. Oh, God. Oh, gosh. It's funny because we're going to get invaded by America eventually. It won't even be an invasion. It's just we're just going to roll out the red carpet. We're just going to formalize the whole arrangement. You'll be greeted as liberators. Most of the people in this country are probably going to be like, yeah, hell yeah, brother. Rob, if we put a leash on this AI trend, then China and Russia may surpass us. Well, that's the thing. I want the Chinese version. I want the Chinese AI. I want the Chinese Marxist AI. Liberated from the tyrant. Trudeau, exactly. I call him True Dope. He's a dope. You see that Chinese EVs made Tesla shares tank? No, I didn't. That is funny though. Actually, one interesting thing that I saw where Trump was saying he wants China to build factories in the United States. You got to wonder if that's going to force the Democrats to do something. It's funny how Elon's already taken on. He had like that dark, like all those weird dipshits in whatever demonic group chat they're in. They all changed their avatars to like the dark MAGA thing, and Elon's already over it. He already changed it back. That's pretty funny. I love all the freaking out about JD Vance as well. If JD Vance gets replaced, it's going to be so funny. It is going to be really, really funny. What a flop that is. They really thought they had something with the JD Vance pick, and it's been just an absolute flop. Very low energy. Sad. Most humiliating thing ever. If he goes from an anti-Trump conservative to a Trump ass kisser to being ritualistically humiliated by Trump, that'd be pretty good stuff. That would be pretty great. He's always so cringe, kind of surprised Trump picked the guy with such a small amount of juice. Because he's who the tech bros want. And like we talked a bit about yesterday, they thought they were going to run against Biden and run up the score. So it was about additionally dunking on Biden and throwing red meat to the base rather than a smart pick that's going to actually like help them win the election. How big of a loser nerd do you have to be to convert to Catholicism? Adult Catholic converts are fucking weird. Vance didn't earn the intense shame and guilt that his ethnic Catholics, Irish, had to endure since birth. Exactly. You're just walking right in there. You're just walking right in at the end. You didn't do any of the hard work of feeling shitty about yourself for your entire life. It's weird. It's weird how there's this whole like reactionary Catholic convert hipster art scene movement in New York. What the fuck's going on in New York with that? That's the whole thing, the whole Dime Square thing. It's bizarre. Yeah, with the teal money, exactly. My aunt and uncle converted as adults. They turned super conservative. They already were conservative, but now they're all full MAGA freaks. So that sounds about right. Yeah, Dime Square and JD Vance are both teal money. Didn't Vance appear on that podcast? The main, like, I don't even want to speak it into existence. It's also weird because they're like super monotheistic, and the whole thing about being Catholic is praying to saints when you want shit done. Another funny thing about them is they all don't like the Pope, and they're all like, no, the Pope says all this stuff, but I don't agree with it. Sorry, that's not how it works. You want to convert to Catholicism, he's the guy. Like, what? You just invented Protestantism. Like, this is not a new thing. You're gonna convert to Catholicism, and then you're gonna talk shit about the Pope. He's not the real Pope. It's like, he literally is. He literally is. Yeah, you literally have to listen to this guy. That's the whole deal. He's the literal voice of God. Not this communist Pope. No, that's not how this shit works. Not Catholicism, but my cousin converted to evangelicalism when she moved to Tennessee, dyed her hair bleach blonde, and forced everyone to watch Sound of Freedom at her wedding. That sounds really fun for everyone involved, Husker. There's other sects if you don't like the Pope. That's what the Catholicism is for. If you hate the Pope so much, go hang out with Rod Dreher and his Eastern Orthodox Twinks. Exactly. The Twinks are coming up a lot today. For some reason. I don't know what's going on with that. Is it because I'm dressed like a twink today, or what? Is that why this keeps coming up? I'm psychologically, I subconsciously twink pilled myself in the chat. I'm too much of a big boy to be a twink. I'm a big boy. Can you be are there large twinks? I don't know how this works really. I don't really know about the terminology. Like I'm not a bear because I have no like hair. I have like no body hair. It's more of a mindset. I don't know if it's just a mindset. Twinks are, as a rule, slim and smooth. Slim is one thing I am not. That is one thing I'm not. You're not a bog boy. You're like 5'5". I'm 6 foot. I'm not 5'5". You're just a guy. Okay, well. I defy definition, okay? I defy all these labels, all right? I'm just Rob. Anywhere else I'd be a slob. I don't know. I didn't even see that movie. I don't even know the song. I just know that one part. I think I did see that, Husker, the Guar version. I'll get my phone in case I get any important texts or calls. Kamala could call any moment with a VP nod. That's right. I want to make sure I'm ready. My number is called. I almost did the Jamiroquai thing, but that didn't really work. CBC is going to call for your commentary. They should. Virtual Rob Sanity. What a great video that is. It's not so crazy. She loves to laugh, and so who better is a VP than the self-styled clown prince of Twitch? I don't think I've ever called myself that, James. It is really funny to focus on the laughing as like this is like she's unelectable because of this. Because she laughs. It's like that I think is like that's one of the endearing things, you know? Like the whole unburdened by what has been, coconut tree, the whole like laughing wine pilled out ant thing aesthetic. That's what like people find appealing. That's what people find humanizing about her. It's the being a prosecutor. It's the being a cop. It's helping do genocide. That's the bad stuff, you know, but they like all those things. That's why it puts them in kind of a weird pickle. Trump doesn't laugh. That's true. I don't think I've ever seen Trump laugh. That is true. That's weird. I would laugh so hard seeing you in a pink tank top on CBC Power and Politics. I should be on there. Like, Jesus Christ, I would at least make it entertaining. This is what I've been saying for a while. Like, just even if I'm the token crazy. Oh, look at this wacky guy. What's he saying? That's money. People like that. CBC Power Bottom and Politics. I think I should be on there, frankly. Chad, I'd like to introduce you to Andrew Coyne. I want to give that guy a diamond cutter. Why not Cacklin Kamala? I guess that would make more sense. But even just a nickname that focusing on the laugh is just, I don't think it's going to work. About That. Rob should take over the About That series. Should we be able to do unlimited genocide on the first world? About that. You're telling me you wouldn't watch that? People wouldn't watch that. I'm sticking with Kumala. That's my lock. I guess, yeah, Kumala. That's pretty good. Killer Kamala. Some call Joseph Stalin one of history's greatest monsters. Others have recently taken a more nuanced view of the famed Soviet leader. I'm Rob Russo with About That. Why can't we have this on TV? Why can't we have this conversation on TV? You know? I should send them a demo reel. I agree. These are the important conversations that we need to be having on television. Do the Wayne's World method. You mean just go diddle-doo, 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 diddle-doo. And then I just show up on CBC one day? Mamala is kind of hot as a nickname. These people are just such weird freaks. Like, they can't make any criticism that's not super weird and alienating. This is why I think, even with all the flaws, they might actually win this election. Because they can't fucking talk about it without seeming weird and creepy and alienating. And they just have this, like, urge to double and triple down on all this really, like, really bizarre, very alienating rhetoric about this. Because they can't be normal. I love the new Blue Anon meltdown about how Trump's barely nicked ear miraculously healing means it was fake. The lack of ability to understand that's entirely possible to barely get nicked by a bullet and hit, not meaning your head is removed from your shoulders, is very embarrassing. Yeah, and it still bleeds a lot, even if it's just nicked a little bit. Well, like the whole thing, Trump wasn't actually shot. It was glass. He wasn't actually shot. It was glass from the teleprompter. It's like, if someone shoots at you and the bullet comes close enough that it shatters glass that hits you and physically fucks you up, that still kind of counts. Like, what are you splitting hairs here about, you know? Is it really, like, it's not that much of a difference. You're still visibly wounded from a shooting attempt, you know? It's like, ultimately, it's still the same thing. I'm also on Team Trump, bladed like a pro wrestler. Well, this is what I was saying is like the interesting thing about that whole situation, the whole assassination attempt situation in the first place. Just that there's so much red meat for the conspiracy theorists on both sides, you know? If you're an anti-Trump person, you see that image immediately of Trump with the fist and the blood and the Secret Service and the flag in the background. This image that probably they could have spent all day blocking and lighting the shot and not had it as perfect of an image. So if you're inclined to, if you hate Trump and you think it's a false flag, it's like, wow, there's all kinds of stuff for you to believe about that. And if you think Trump is at war with the deep state and they want to get rid of him and shut him up, and it's like they're working to try and get rid of him, well, there's plenty of stuff for you to get lost in there as well, like we talked about yesterday. There's plenty of red meat for the conspiracy theories on that side as well, the QAnon types. It's really like it's a perfect alignment of different kind of varying, clashing conspiracies that you can project onto that one incident. It's kind of fascinating in that way. Trump under the podium fiddling for his straight razor. You keep it in the wrist tape. You keep it hidden in the wrist tape there. That's the funniest part about these kinds of events. So much shit gets thrown around that the truth ends up not mattering. I think it's genuinely hilarious how no one cares. How no one cares really that Trump was assassinated anymore. I think it was really easy to believe, and I don't blame people for believing this. Like, after this happened, oh, he's going to win for sure. Look at this picture. Look at the contrast with feeble Joe Biden. They're going to get whipped up into a frenzy. Democrats are going to be afraid to campaign against him now. He's just going to easily waltz right into a landslide victory, you know? And then like 2 weeks later, people were like, "What? He got shot?" I barely even remember. I barely even remember that at all. And choosing Vance, yeah, just deflated it for sure. The Vance thing is very funny. How that's completely failed, and now they're all freaking out because now there's all kinds of energy around Kamala. They're fundraising. I've seen a couple of polls. I don't know if there's been a ton of polling about since this announcement happened. And now they're just freaking out. It's very funny. Who thought Vance was a good idea in the first place? Well, that's the thing. It was like he was the guy that was just going to run up the score. Excuse me. He's going to appeal to the groypers and these weird incel freaks and tech guys and this kind of stuff. You know? They weren't thinking at all about, like, how's this guy going to deliver us states that we need to win in this election? It was purely just, here's for the base. You know, here's some slop for some chum for the base. And now they're looking around going like, oh, shit. Now we might be stuck with this guy. Even Ohio hates him. Yeah, he's like a fake Appalachian. What's this Mélenchon clip? Mélenchon is very cool. I think Trump listened to his son one time and it was the worst decision ever. Yeah, Don Jr. is going to be in the doghouse forever now. Is Mélenchon the one? Is he the prince that was promised? That's not what I want. That's you.
J'avais un doute sur ce résultat. Mais je me suis dit, maintenant, il n'y a qu'une chose qui vaut, c'est on continue le combat. Alors il m'est venu cette idée de vous dire faites mieux. Mais je voudrais d'abord lever une ambiguïté. Je ne voulais pas vous dire comme un prétentieux, faites mieux que moi. C'est pas ça que je voulais dire. Faites mieux. C'est-à-dire faites mieux que ma génération qui n'est arrivée à rien. Abattez la citadelle. N'écoutez jamais personne qui vous dira de reculer, d'arrêter, de céder, d'amollir. Faites mieux. Abattez ce système.
Hell yeah, brother.
J'essaye de vous expliquer. Écoutez-moi, camarades. L'action politique ne vaut rien sans pensée politique claire. Sans théorie claire, pas d'action claire. Vous devez travailler inlassablement à mieux comprendre les mécanismes qui unissent le capitalisme quotidien à la catastrophe qui s'avance vers l'humanité. Et mon dernier mot sera le suivant. Une société résiste d'autant mieux qu'elle est travaillée par l'instinct de la solidarité et du collectivisme. Soyez collectivistes, soyez solidaires, faites mieux que la merde qu'on vous lègue.
Pretty cool. And in our version of that in Canada is like, why can't we all be nice to each other? Maybe if we work with the Liberals, we can get means-tested dental care. Please? I just want everyone to be nice to each other. I just want us all to be happy. This is what we get. This is what we get. North America sorely needs an independent left, and I mean fully independent, not collaborative with liberals. Yeah, I mean, a major movement that had this kind of take no prisoners approach, that was not based in begging for scraps from the table, would be nice. It would be nice. You know? Just a bunch of celebrities that want to get a seat at the table, and will maybe possibly deliver some mild concessions. Oh, Daka, dude, I don't even want to get into that. It's so fucking... It's just embarrassing. Working with liberals, 10% of the middle, 20% of income, so we'll be able to subsidize approximately 15% of their cough syrup. And like, listen, like, you know, the dental stuff, like there are small changes that are being made that aren't bad, but it's like after 10 years of Trudeau, and with all the climate crisis coming and all the various crises that he's come through, it's like that's the limit of our imagination. It's not to say that it's bad. If a few more people, especially younger people, lower income people, are able to get dental care that couldn't before, great, fantastic. But it's like, why is that the limit of our imagination, though? That's the question. It's not that this stuff is not good or not worth fighting for. Why can't we? It's like the line in Inception. You mustn't be afraid to dream a little bigger, darling. You know, that's what I would like to say to some of these folks. Yeah, well, Red Wizard, you see exactly how and why the narrative about Stalin has been created and what function that serves. And that's why I think it's important to talk about, and it's important not to just let it go. Sorry, I forgot some of my lights. Now I'm even more pink. We need to rehabilitate his image. Stalin was a hero who defeated the Nazis. Well, I mean, I just think we can. That's someone we can and should talk about with nuance. Just this idea that we've kind of just basically accepted that Stalin was basically on par with Hitler or worse than Hitler. Basically, is what the kind of wink version of that is insane. It's like it's the fundamental building block of all our sort of anti-communist propaganda. And it's like, that's why people say, don't talk about this. It's alienating. It's upsetting. You just freak people out when you talk about this. But it's like, we need to talk about it. We need to reevaluate this. We need to like actually have a nuanced historical understanding of this. That's not based in this like hero worship or black and white bullshit. You know, there can be a criticism. Like there can be like, that's why that book is important. History and critique of a black legend. It doesn't mean we don't need to critique. But when we accept this framing, that he was like one of history's greatest monsters. This is how every leftist movement then gets like completely fractured every time. Oh, of course I'm a socialist, but I would never say anything positive about the Soviet Union. You know, of course, yeah, I love socialism. I'm a socialist. I'm a Marxist. I would never dream to say anything positive about Stalinism in the Soviet Union. Can you imagine? This is the Chomsky thing, you know? We can't even have like a nuanced discussion about the most successful socialist project in our history because we get hung up on this shit about Stalinism. Yeah, I mean, it's a good point cinema challenge. I would like to see someone do better. There was a lot going on. Just simply just transition from feudalism to communism. Just abolish feudalism with all the most powerful economies and powerful militaries who you fucked over by overthrowing the Tsarist system, who all hate you and want to destroy you. You just simply transition towards communism, away from feudalism, and where you're like, and just do that, and where everyone is respected and there's no violence and nothing bad ever happens. It's easy. Should be no problem for all the keyboard warriors in the West, you know, that hate the red fash tankies. Any one of those people would just have no problem with that. You simply just transition. You just press the communism button. What is the big problem? While the whole world is on your ass, exactly. And you've got this growing Nazi threat coming from Germany, which the Western world is fully supporting. You know? And it's the same argument about China and Mao, you know? It's the same thing. You mean they didn't transition from this, like, semi-colonized, feudalistic, largely illiterate, brutally impoverished society to, like, a luxury gay space communism in, like, 5 years? And people were, like, harmed and there was famines? Oh, let's just throw away the whole thing, then. Let's just throw away the whole thing. One of history's greatest monsters. Yeah, you went from this going back to Russia and the Soviet Union. You mean you went from this backwards agrarian feudalistic system to an industrial powerhouse in like a few years? and we can't acknowledge that that's like one of history's greatest accomplishments, and an accomplishment that actually prevented the Nazis from winning the war, which never would have happened if they had tried to be nice and was like, when they had tried to have like no laws and no rules and just like putting the workers in charge of every single factory and democratically making all these decisions. None of that ever would have happened. Anyway. That's why I actually think, even though this does make some people uncomfortable, I actually think it's important to talk about. I think it's good to talk about, and it's important to talk about it. Well, just this idea that, like, you know, violence that happened in the Soviet Union, or violence that happened in the Cultural Revolution, discredits the Soviet Union, discredits China, discredits the very idea of socialism, when our disgusting barbaric society built on on mass genocide of indigenous people and the transatlantic slave trade, that apparently doesn't have this big black mark against our whole way of life and our whole economic system and all the founding fathers that we love to jerk off talking about. Apparently that's not that big of a deal. It always comes back to this idea of the monopoly of violence, right? And who has the ability to do violence, and who, when some people do violence, then we say, oh no, that's so against our delicate sensibilities. But we can do it, though. It's not a big problem when we do it. The violence of colonialism, settler colonialism, the violence of imperialism, no, that's just like what you do. But if any other country that's not part of our special little group, if they start acting like that, oh boy, we're so scandalized by it. We're so scandalized. What's the best way to not reiterate those anti-communist talking points while talking to a curious liberal without scaring them off entirely? That's a great question, actually. I think one thing is just coming across like a normal person. You know, I think some people, especially the hyper online people, have a really like a way of trying to communicate with people that is very alienating. I think it helps just to like be like just a normal person, you know? I think that helps. No, I think you should wear your Ushanka. I do. I had a decent TikTok about this very subject, actually, but I actually deleted it because there was some, I don't know, there was some criticism of Chomsky, and I thought Chomsky was maybe dying, and I don't, you know, as much as I might have problems with Chomsky sometimes, I also have a lot of respect for him, and I thought maybe some of it was a little bit much, but also agitating and educating the working class is not done by going, Stalin did this, Mao did this, but by exposing the antagonisms that are currently happening to them. Yeah, I think that's a good way of looking at it as well. Everyone is dying. It's true. Very true. I always ask them what their understanding is. Them being heard often opens them up a bit. Yeah, well, and it's interesting. Sometimes you can get people to like kind of understand the fact that they have a really strong feeling about something, despite not really having an understanding of it. Like that's why I think talking about DPRK is kind of interesting as well, because a lot of people that have these like progressive social values that are like, well, of course it's just super evil, authoritarian, dictatorship, you know, hell over there. And you're like, well, what specifically about it is that way? And they're like, well, you know, it just is. It's North Korea. It's just the way it is. It's like, so you don't actually know. You don't actually know anything about the Korean War. You don't know anything about like how the society is organized, the economy is organized. You know, you just know. You just know that it's just bad. It's just not good. I read it in the paper, and as Malcolm told us, if you're not careful, the paper can have you loving the or hating the people that are being oppressed and loving the people that are doing the oppressing. I believe everything I hear on media, and especially every hack AI headline. Well, that's the amazing thing about some of these like conservatives too, is they're like, I don't trust the media, man. I don't trust the academics. I don't trust history. I don't trust anything the government tells us. Well, the government told you that socialism is bad, and it's like the worst thing that's ever happened. 50 bajillion killed and all this stuff, and they're like, no, but I believe that though. That I believe. Why do you believe that though? If you don't trust the government and you don't trust this kind of stuff, maybe you should continue to not trust it when they tell you about this, when they say these kinds of things. Always interesting to talk about. Always interesting to get into this. But that's why people say, like, oh, you shouldn't talk about that. You shouldn't ever praise the Soviet Union. You should never talk about Stalin. You should never talk about Mao. You should never talk about any of this stuff. But I do think it's important to do. That's the ultimate. That's the fundamental building block of all of our entire Western propaganda. Is based in that. And once you start to chip away at that, you can really get people to start really reevaluating some things. But if you leave that building block intact, they're still susceptible to be manipulated and divided, turned against one another. I would say pointing out how every class revolution has used violence and the tools of an organized pseudo-state to eventually gain power is a good way to start the discussion of the monopoly of violence question. Yeah, and I think that sometimes people get tripped up because rather than challenging that at all, they're like, no, of course I'm a leftist. Yeah, I support revolution and stuff, but no, I don't support the Russian Revolution. I don't support the Chinese Revolution because it was violent, and I kind of fundamentally agree with all these criticisms. Rather than or the Cuban Revolution, whatever, rather than just saying, yeah, it was violent. Yes, revolutions are violent. Just as like the American Revolution was violent. Just as the settling of these societies was extremely violent. Like, yeah. I mean, Americans talking about violence as a way to delegitimize a nation or like an economic idea is just laughable. You know, it just doesn't make sense. The biggest prison population. Yeah, don't ever say anything about China. You know, they got slave labor over there. This authoritarian, no one has human rights in the country with the largest prison population in human history. And you look into details about any of these prisons, and they're all just these basically like medieval torture chambers, like absolutely horrendous. Or American cops just shooting people in the street. Like, I'm sure, did people see the body cam footage of that woman? What was her name? Or in their homes, yes. Sonia Massey. Everyone watch that footage? It's fucking insane. Like, it's just insane that this is like allowed. Like, America needs to be not denazified. Americans literally talking about authoritarianism in other countries when there's fucking not heavily armed Nazis just going into people's homes and just murdering them. And this cop is actually facing some consequences because there was no way that they could cover it up. That's what gets really confusing with all this like Project 2025 stuff. Oh, if Trump wins, cops are going to be able to just kill whoever they want. That's literally the current situation that's happening right now. And Joe Biden has given cops more money than they've ever had before. American cops are killing more people now than they ever have before. That's currently happening right now. Like these horrendous, terrifying prisons are just filled with people, predominantly low-income people, disproportionately black and brown and indigenous people. People are dying there right now, right at this very moment. And people act like it's this, like, oh, imagine first of all, I can't talk about like China or DPRK. Like, don't you know it's authoritarian? And they say this with zero self-reflection whatsoever. That footage is just insane, though. Like, it's one of the worst body cam footages that I've seen. And it's honestly incredibly disturbing how quickly this cop goes from like just like average everyday being a cop asshole to like violent, murderous intentions at the drop of a hat. She says, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus Christ. And he says, I'm going to shoot you in the fucking face. And she says, I'm sorry. And goes down on the ground. And he just shoots her in the head. And then his partner is like, I'm going to go get my medical equipment. And the guy's like, no, don't worry about it. Like, she's dead. She had water, and he told her to remove the water from the stove. Yeah, it's the same thing. Go pick. This is what all this always happens too. Go pick up that water. She does. Now I'm in danger. Instant murder. And she had put it down, and she literally says, "I'm sorry." She says, "I'm sorry," and she cowers on the ground, and he shoots her. It's horrendous. And this is the question that I always have with these kinds of shootings. How many of these have there been in the United States that we don't ever hear about? You know, we hear about some of these cases. How many of these cases do we just never hear about? Like, America has literally never evolved past like the slave catcher, Jim Crow mentality. They literally just legalized slavery, and they just legalized and normalized and modernized that whole process. Yeah, and the Viking tattoos, like that's what I mean. Like, America needs to be denazified. Seriously. All these police departments need to be denazified. Also, the cop who murdered Sonia had his body cam turned off. Thankfully, the other officer had it on. Yeah, and if he hadn't had it on, they would say, oh, she attacked me, and that would be the end of the story. We investigated. She attacked me. Justified. It's incredibly disturbing. But I think people should watch this, especially if you're confused and all about this notion about authoritarianism or whatever. About if Trump if Trump wins, fascism may come to America. Like, that's a sign that fascism is already there. When heavily armed jackbooted thugs are murdering people in their own homes on behalf of the state, that's fascism. And they're fully at the service of private property. That's fascism. They did. I read they did try to say she tried to kill herself before they realized there was body cam footage. Yeah, they tried to come up with a story at first, and they, like, again, this cop is only actually getting consequences because it was impossible to avoid. They mean the fascism might affect me. That's right. And the sad thing is that it will not. All these fucking like East Coast like newspaper columnists. Oh, I'm going to be in danger now. No, you're not. No one cares. No one cares about you. You're not a threat to anything. No one gives a shit about you. You're not in danger. It'll give immunity to cops. Can you imagine if cops had immunity from like committing these kinds of crimes? Can you just imagine something so scary? Yeah, and the cops will go. This one cop will go to prison, but again, the systemic issue will not be addressed. Just like the George Floyd cop. Oh, we fixed the problem. This one guy had consequences, and then meanwhile, all the other cops got a raise, got more money, and are now just emboldened to keep killing everybody that they want. A guy who was suicidal in the neighborhood I grew up in had a cops called for a wellness check. One of the cops came in and executed him after like 30 seconds. Happened like 5 years ago. Weird as well. When I was a kid, a cop and his daughter lived at that house. It happens all the time. It happens all the time in Canada as well, with lower frequency because it's just a lower population. And I think the cops in America are uniquely psychotic. Happens all the time in Canada though, particularly to Indigenous people and Indigenous women especially. You know, so it's just crazy that this kind of shit goes on in America and Americans just don't blink an eye, or they say, "Oh, that's a real problem." Oh, wow, what a shame. That's a damn shame. And they put up like a Black Lives Matter sign on their front lawn, and then they vote for cops who give more money to cops and prisons. And like we keep talking about all these cop cities being built in cities with Democratic mayors and Democratic city councils with a Democratic president in the White House.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Emax Money, thank you for the Prime. Thanks for the 16 months of Prime. I appreciate it. Far too many Americans will say it was her fault for threatening the pigs, even though she was doing no such thing. Well, it's the amazing the people that make excuses for this. Like there was that woman, and I'm so sorry, it sounds insensitive, but I lose track of the people that are constantly being murdered by police in America because there's just so fucking many. But the woman that was like leaving from her car in like a Walmart or a big box store, and the cops gets in the way of the car, and then when she tries to drive off, shoots her up. My life was in danger. We talked about this when it was going on. And then you have nonstop people. Well, she tried to run him over. What do you want him to do? She tried to run him over. Maybe don't stand in front of the car in the first place. You have her on camera. We talked about this when it was going on, but like you have her on camera leaving. If she really did something so egregious, you have her fucking license plate. You have her address. Just let her leave. Go, and if you really have to, you can just go to her home later. Instead, he throws himself in front of a moving vehicle, instant execution in the street for shoplifting some shit from a Walmart. We need to do a high-speed pursuit. Exactly. Yeah. So if they do leave, then we're going to chase them at 100 miles per hour through streets, making everybody less safe because we've seen a bunch of movies and we like to pretend that we're like action heroes. You got to create a situation where the most violence is permissible. I've been trying to read Chud comments on Twitter to see how they spin the Sonia Massey story, and I couldn't find much. honestly, it's indefensible. Like, it's like there's nothing. She's not a threat. She's very clearly not a threat to this guy. And he's very clearly a psycho who wanted to murder someone and did. She said, "Oh, I'm sorry," and she's cowering on the floor when she gets shot. There's no defense of that. Because we know Walmart can't survive if someone shoplifts a coffee maker. Yeah, it's just ludicrous. Broken country to think there's a chance this guy won't be locked up for life. I'm sure he will be locked up, but like nothing is actually being addressed with like dealing with these on a case by case basis, and maybe sometimes having a situation that's so egregious that they can't lie their way out of it and they have to like actually have consequences. That's not fixing the problem. And then all the other police just get more money. That's not actually addressing the problem. It's just intense. So this is just why I think it's like you see that there's this like thought terminating thing that happens when we talk about socialism, we talk about revolutionary China or the Cultural Revolution or the Soviet Union or any of this stuff. And people say like, "Oh no, you can never support any of that. There was violence that happened." And then you just look around at our society that we live in right now. Which is just fueled by violence. It's hyper individualism. Like they don't see it like a systemic problem. They see it as a problem with individuals. Yeah, I mean that's how we're like taught to think about these things. You just solve it on a case by case basis. It's a bad apple, you know. Zero effort to connect that to any kind of like systemic issues. I told my buddy police unions aren't unions, and he was really hesitant to agree that police shouldn't be able to unionize. I mean, it's just it's easy, I think, to tell people like when workers are like trying to strike and they line up on the street, who's there beating the shit out of them? It's the fucking cops. They're protecting capital, they're protecting private property. They're not workers. The whole union movement in the West has been infested with this. Who do they send to beat up the strikers when the police union goes on strike? Well, that's it. They don't actually do that. They send the cops. It was funny when the police unions were freaking out in Montreal for those like multiple years, it felt like. And they were all rebelling by wearing like weird pants. They were wearing like non-official uniforms. That was their big protest. They were wearing like pink camo cargo pants and stuff like that. That was their big protest. Montreal cops, who are some of the worst of the worst. They should send factory workers to beat the cops up. Reverse the roles, exactly. Oh, what a topsy-turvy world, folks. Also, police, do you mean should not be able to have visible tattoos? Yeah, what a red flag that is, though, in that video. You see the guys like Norse mythology runes and shit. My dad, who's been a paramedic for 25 years, doesn't have the benefits they have and cannot retire as easily as cops either without penalty. I mean, like we talked about before, the whole thing is just a make work overtime scam for these reactionary psychos. Like, that's the whole thing. Like, it's literally, it's like the mob. It's like the mafia. It's a gang. And they completely control all our major city centers, no matter where you live, and have more power. Like, if you're an elected official and you get elected on a platform of reining in the police, you can't do it because you don't have power over them. That's what became very clear. And it's like, that's fascism. This became very clear over those 2020 protests. All these liberal Democratic mayors have no fucking ability to rein in these people. Yeah, they literally surveil and harass politicians. Like, it's really a serious problem, which is why it's crazy to me that you have the Democratic Party that's bending over backwards to see him as even more pro-police. And they're really leading into the like police cop versus felon thing. He's a felon, and we're the cops. We're the good cops. I don't know, man. I should just take a little moment to remind folks, though, going on to almost 2 hours into this stream here. Chad, if you do enjoy this program and you enjoy these types of conversations and you like to tune into the show each and every day, please, if you can, support the work that I do here on twitch.tv. I don't get the big cop union money. I don't get big overtime paychecks from the city, okay? The only way I'm able to do this program is if I make this little number at the bottom of the screen go up, and I need your help to do that. So if you can, please subscribe to the program. It's $5. You can also gift subs. You can tip. You can gift bits. Whatever it is. Every little bit helps a lot. Help support the work that I do on here. Help me make the little number go up. I appreciate it a lot. We become friends, and you become part of Twitch's only two-dimensional triangle-shaped friendship access and trickle-down clout tiered reward system.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
I remember when Muriel Bowser had a Black Lives Matter painted on street in D.C., then raises the police budget a few months later. It's just a fucking joke, Kijiji. And then these reactionaries say, look at these like anti-cop liberal Democrats. These cities are just lawless hellholes because they've defunded the police and they're so mean and cruel to the police. And Non, thank you for the gifted sub. Yeah, Raven, it's incredibly disturbing. It's incredibly disturbing. I think people should watch it because I think it's important to understand like just what all this money is going to support. Definitely feels subs are down since the price increase. They pretend it means streamers get more, but feel it has the reverse effect. It does kind of feel a little bit like that, doesn't it? It's yet another one of those cases where if they just made the things cheaper, we would make more money, but they make it prohibitively expensive and we make less money. You figure it out. You figure it out. Surely we can do better than 3. I feel must be possible to do better than 3 going into 2 hours into the stream. September is always the best month for streamers. Yeah. I'm going to have to bust my little hump in September.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Do you get anything from unsub chatters who watch your stream with Turbo? I don't think so. I don't actually know what that is. Stone Corbell, thanks for the 10 months, tier 1. Thank you. Thank you for that. September and Domtober. That's right. That's absolutely right. I'm still really, literally reticent to talk about this stuff. I'm still like, there is some stuff that I have going on in my life right now that like may change a lot of things. And I have really wanted to talk about it, but I'm not doing so because it's like, I don't know. Everything's up in the air right now. There may come a time though, and you maybe will have me less to talk you through all this. Yeah, I'm trying not to jinx. Can we get to 10 subs before moving on? It would be really fantastic if we could. And Kijiji shouldn't have to be the one to do it too, because Kijiji's been carrying the stream this month. Audition for Batman. You know, it's just, they tell you like, and I really try to like agree with this, like keep your expectations low. You know, don't start counting your chickens before they hatch, all this stuff. Don't start measuring the drapes. have my expectations super high. I'm counting chickens. I'm measuring drapes. So it's going to be maximum pain. It's going to be maximum pain if it doesn't work out the way I want it to. I'm doing all the opposite of what you're supposed to do with that. I'm big time. I'm measuring all the drapes. I'm counting all the chickens. My expectations are way up here. And I'm ready for some maximum disappointment. I'm doing things a little bit differently over here. Measuring drapes. Hey, you start measuring the drapes like before you move in. You know?
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Wow, look at all those potential chickens.
Bon, thanks for the 35 months, tier 1. I don't think it's an East Coast saying. Start measuring the drapes. I don't know. That's like a common expression. Anyway, I've really wanted to talk about this because it's like it's exciting to me and like there's it's kind of some crazy stuff going on, but it's just it probably is best to just not do that, but it's hard not to. It is very hard not to. Wait it out. No, I know. I know. In Alberta, they don't measure drapes. They just put them on the windows. Actually, when I got curtains for my apartment, I didn't measure them ahead of time, and I really wish that I had. My curtains are way too long in my room. They go down into the heater. It's probably some kind of hazard.
You can count on me. You're going to have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Talks too well. Thanks for the 43 months, tier 1. Rob's going to be the first guest on the new Marshawn Lynch, Gavin Newsom
You've just
podcast.
become an elite member of the
goodness.
Friendship
Talks
Triangle.
To all. Hell yeah. Talks to all. Thank you for 5 gifted subs. Very, very kind of you. Very much appreciated. Measuring the drapes apparently comes from Bob Taft, whose wife thought he was going to be president. She discussed changing the drapes in the White House. See, there we go. I told you I'm not crazy. I'm doing all that stuff. I'm really setting myself for maximum disappointment. I hear the Harris campaign has reached out to Rob for VP pick. I think that would be an exciting choice, you know? Dynamic, it's different, it would get people talking. I would appeal to all kinds of different demographics. What's not to like about that? $2 Montrealers on the same ticket, that's right. That's exciting. That's historic. You want a historic election. Can the VP be a non-citizen? I'm going to say yes. We can push Rob left. I'll listen to you, okay? I promise I will not be changed by the system. All right? I promise. I pledge to you I will not be changed. Can I be your chief of staff? Yes. I promise I will not be changed. We just need to make sure that Ukraine has the weapons that they need to defeat the evil Putin. Oh, shit. This is actually quite interesting. It is insane that Netanyahu's addressing Congress and they rolled out the red carpet for this fucking child-killing monster criminal. They rolled out the red carpet for this fucking guy and they're just bringing him to speak to United States Congress. What an absolute disgrace that is. Rashida Tlaib is here in the room awaiting Netanyahu, expecting something big incoming. She's wearing a keffiyeh with Palestinian colors on. People tracking Democrats skipping the speech have been wondering when we'd hear about her plans. Also in the room, at least one member of the hostage family movement opposed to Netanyahu. Tlaib just chatted with Dean Phillips. Just behind her, Jerry Nadler, another staunch Netanyahu critic. Joining me in the chamber today is Hani Almadon, who's lost over 150 members of his extended family in Netanyahu's genocide. After witnessing his sister forced to eat animal feed, he and his family were determined to start a soup kitchen to feed their starving neighbors. Why is it just her that's doing this? I mean, it's not just her, but I think it is. It's silly how like radical she seems. You know, this should be standard for like a liberal movement. This should be the standard. I saw this person too. There are some decent people that are working in the United States government. Congresswoman Delia Ramirez. Congresswoman proudly serving Illinois' 3rd District. Tomorrow, Congress will host an international court-accused war criminal. We can't work towards peace while giving Netanyahu the floor. Not one more cent, not one more bomb, not one more excuse.
Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to express my outrage on the eve of Prime Minister Netanyahu's joint address. His address is a slap in the face to the thousands and thousands of Americans who have been demanding a ceasefire. The people of conscience opposed to U.S.-supplied bombs killing women and children, and the 12 U.S. government officials who have resigned protesting the national security and moral crisis our policies are creating. We cannot work towards peace while giving a war criminal the floor, or exert moral authority while supporting the killing of children and civilians, nor defend national interests while eroding our relationships across the world. We must listen to the American people and our officials and our diplomats, like Major Harrison Mann, who will be standing with me tomorrow, to demand the administration and our leadership change course. I hear them. What they say is not one more bomb, not one more dollar, not one more excuse for Netanyahu's atrocities.
Maybe a little bit more of this, you know? Maybe a little bit more of this. That's been my whole argument talking about this whole Kamala thing. Will she or won't she? Will she chart a new path on Israel? Will she continue the same path? Why is this hard? Why is this a hard decision? To stop supporting the deeply unpopular, corrupt criminal that's currently mass murdering little kids with U.S. bombs. Why is that hard? Who hates Democrats and loves Trump and wants Trump to be the president? Why is it hard to go to this guy and say, you're cut off? No more bombs, no more weapons, you're finished. Why is that difficult? Why are we like basically like begging Kamala Harris to like come make this decision with just like a basic sense of common morality, in addition to being politically a good idea as well? It's so fucking crazy to me that we're sitting here like, will she or won't she do this? It's crazy that it's like a radical thing to like demand this from the Democratic liberal nominee to stop sending weapons to this criminal, this obviously corrupt criminal thug who's murdering kids. It's this whole idea that the U.S. is some kind of neutral arbiter in this situation. It's like the ultimate form of gaslighting to continue to pretend the U.S. has an iota of credibility. Oh, Biden's plan wants a ceasefire. Biden's trying to bring all the sides together. You can't bring all sides together when you're arming the people that are doing the baby killing. Like, I'm sorry, you're on one side. You're not some neutral arbiter in the middle. Oh, if only we could have there's just nothing we could do. If only there could be a ceasefire. There's like this, none of this would have happened without Joe Brandon. Which is why I can't stand this shit either. Like, what is the disconnect here? What is the disconnect? It's a dark day in U.S. history from AOC. It is a dark day in U.S. history when an authoritarian with warrant requests from the International Criminal Court is allowed to address a joint session of Congress. 40K Palestinians dead. Hostages aren't home. Netanyahu is a war criminal. I'll be boycotting his address. By the way, up until 1 week ago, you got to vote for Joe Biden in the election, the best president of my lifetime. I'm going to go put on aviators and stand next to this fucking goofball who can't even talk anymore and who's sent this, who you admit is a war criminal, the bombs and weapons that he has used to kill all these people. Like, what is the fucking disconnect here? What I keep asking, it's like, if this whole thing of like building power, this is the whole argument. Oh, we're being part of this party, we're being part of this system. This is how we get concessions. This is how we do this is how we do that. But what's the purpose of building power? I keep asking this question. I'm sorry if you're tired of hearing me ask this question. What's the purpose of building power when your own party is facilitating a genocide and you're just helpless to do anything about it? You have a few mild criticisms. Why aren't you putting every fucking ounce of leverage that you have on stopping that from happening? which includes not endorsing the fucking guy that's doing it and demanding, if you want me to get on board with anything, this has to stop right away. Using every little bit of leverage that you have to stop that from happening. What's the point of even being there? We're talking about a genocide. We're talking about the mass murder of little kids. I'll keep reminding people about that CBS video. Again, it's mainstream media in America that's now talking about this. From an American surgeon saying, this is the most horrific thing I've ever seen in my life. Little children are being targeted by snipers. And you've got progressives in the United States government that fully support the guy that's doing it, with a little bit of hand wringing, a little bit of finger wagging. And up until 1 week ago, they were tossing this guy a lifeline with concessions that had nothing to do with the genocide that he's supporting. They don't want power. They just want to bow to it. Well, that's what I mean. It's like, what's the purpose of building power if you can't stop a genocide from happening? If you don't have the power to even influence that at all, we have to start re-examining this whole strategy. Like Rashida Tlaib is like not just going to endorse Kamala Harris without concessions. And AOC and all the other people go from endorsing Biden fully to just immediately flipping to endorse Harris without saying, like, hey, by the way, I'll endorse you if you stop sending weapons to this country that's dropping bombs on little kids sleeping in tents. Yeah, and meanwhile, China is bringing in, like James is pointing out, China is bringing in all these different Palestinian factions and trying to unite them, because that's what China does in the world, is try and make peace deals and tries to de-escalate conflicts rather than arming and funding one side of them, while also pretending that there's some kind of moral backbone of the world. Scary China, who you can never say anything good about because of human rights. They don't care about human rights like we do. Oh no, Eugene got pepper sprayed.
All right, so what happened?
Sorry for how rough I looked to everyone who knows me, but we were bringing our march in defense of our First Amendment right to march on the street on Constitution Avenue to say that we are totally opposed to this war criminal, Benjamin Netanyahu, speaking before a joint session of Congress. We had every right in the world to march, but the U.S. Capitol Police lined the street, Constitution Avenue. They refused to let us march forward. Our march was completely and totally peaceful. We said, let us through, let us march. Before, we didn't do anything at all. We didn't even move forward, but they started to push us back. We were relatively close to the police, but we were not hurting, we were not pushing them, we were not touching them.
But fascism might come to America, though, if we're not careful.
They brought reinforcements who brought out pepper spray. It looked like the long pepper spray that can spray 30 or 20 feet, and almost all of us in the front line got hit directly in the face with this pepper spray. So it was U.S. Capitol Police, who we can all remember opened the gates for many of the people on January 6th to let them in, have pepper sprayed people just for trying to exercise their First Amendment right. It's a totally peaceful protest. There was no danger or no violence, but nonetheless we were repressed.
So it was the government police. It wasn't the NYPD, or from what you were able to see.
From what I was able to see, it appeared to be U.S. Capitol Police. That was the police I was closest to. But we have seen other.
The Capitol Police that got more money after January 6th as well.
But from right where I was, it seemed to be U.S. Capitol Police. But I can't fully confirm. And once I was hit, I didn't see much.
Do you have any idea of how many people were hit? You said the whole front line.
It seemed like the whole front line.
Like
I mean,
dozens of people,
at least dozens. And
okay.
It was the long shooting police pepper spray. So it hit us and then went over our heads. So it was tough to tell, but at least dozens.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
The fact that Netanyahu is coming to speak, it's like inviting Hitler. After we found out about Auschwitz, it's like, look, the plausible deniability of like the Holocaust, like even though we know that they knew about what was going on and were profiting from it, like there is no plausible deniability. You turn on your cell phone and you see the Holocaust on your phone. I mean, it is just cartoonish. It really is cartoonish that this is where we're at, that we're legitimizing Hitler. No, I mean, it's crazy, man. And it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. I mean, even Elizabeth Warren's out there giving, just unabated support to Israel, just send billions of dollars in weapons. Where are the walkouts? Where are the protests? I would be camping out in the halls of Congress if I were AOC.
Pathetic.
What are you doing? That's a good question for you. How many charred corpses is your red line? To make a stand. This is the most criminal thing we've ever seen in
what
the
are you building
history
power for?
Of your life.
This is
are
what
you
I'm
gonna
asking.
Make a stand as a sitting congresswoman? Or are you just going to kind of go about your day? I mean, I honestly can't, Rania. If I were in power, if I had just a modicum of power that these people would, I would not be leaving. I would be filibustering the shit out of everything up there and just being like, are you guys human beings or not?
He's talking right now.
He named his eldest son Moshe after his late father. Moshe became an exemplary officer in one of our elite commando units. He served with distinction.
This is just a disgrace.
While raising 6 beautiful children of his own. On October 7th, Moshe volunteered to return to combat. 4 weeks later, he was killed when a booby-trapped mine exploded in a tunnel shaft right next to a mosque. At his son's funeral,
what else has been going on over the last month before that? We can't even watch this.
If the state of Israel had not been established after the Holocaust, the image engraved in our collective memory would have been the photograph of that helpless Jewish boy in the Warsaw Ghetto holding his hands up in the air.
Sorry, I can't. I just can't look at this guy. I don't want to listen to the propaganda. I can't fucking stand looking at the fact that it's just an absolute disgrace that this guy is like, they rolled out the red carpet for this motherfucker. You can take a look at the protests outside. I think that's probably more valuable to take a look at. This whole thing of like,
you've just become an elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
Plunger Man, thank you very much for 5 gifted subs. Thank you, Plunger Man. Very, very kind of you. Thank you. Just this whole thing of like, yeah, this soldier is in there. We're apparently like soldiers, and we're going and invading this place. We're killing people, but one of them killed one of us. It's like, yeah, no shit, sir. That's what fucking happens. That's what happens when you occupy people. That's what happens when you exploit people. That's what happens when you're an occupying soldier in a war, bombing and killing people. Sometimes they shoot back at you. Where we're supposed to feel like you're a fucking victim. You're some innocent victim. You're literally a soldier in an occupying army that is killing people by the tens of thousands right now. And we're supposed to be shocked and surprised that someone's trying to return the favor? Something that any one of us would do in the same situation? It's so bizarre to me, this painting soldiers as victims. I can understand the rhetorical value of painting like off-duty people or civilians as being victims of violence. When you depict soldiers as innocent victims, literally soldiers, in an army that has been occupying a land for multiple decades, that's involved in an occupation right now where tens of thousands of people are being killed, and they talk about them like they're these innocent little babies. It's so fucking weird to me. It's like, oh, these poor Warsaw police officers in the Warsaw Ghetto, brutally killed in the Warsaw Ghetto uprising, these innocent victims. These poor, brave men, they have wives and they've got kids. They were outside the Auschwitz concentration camp. They're in the Warsaw Ghetto. They're on the front lines in France or wherever else. These poor little innocent victims. And we're supposed to feel bad. We're supposed to feel some kind of sympathy. Oh, he had a kid. Oh, he was a father. Yeah, there's been tens of thousands of kids murdered. I've seen a nonstop stream of kids murdered over the last 10 months. And I'm supposed to feel bad for the people that are doing the killing. It just makes me feel crazy, honestly. It makes me feel crazy. Since 10/8, I've been saying that one's opinion of the Warsaw Uprising and of October 7th are exactly the same. It's amazing that people can't make that connection. It's honestly really amazing. And we still have politicians in the West, even who are trying to support Palestinians, but still can't make this case. And they still have to do all the ritualistic condemnations before they get to their... By the way, like, you have to qualify your disgust at the mass mountain of baby corpses that's being piled up. You have to make sure you qualify that by condemning all the resistance. And suggesting that there's some kind of moral equivalence or a power equivalence between the two. I can't watch it. Like, maybe if there's some highlights of the Netanyahu thing, we can take a look at that at some point, but it's like, I can't sit there and look at that. It's just useless. It's just going to make everyone mad. I hate listening to it. It's just a disgrace that whole thing's happening. Talib is holding up a sign that says war criminal. Good for her. And then why is it just her? This is my question. It's one person in the United States Congress, and then you have all these other progressives. Oh, he's such a war criminal, while they support and endorse the guy that's helping them do all the war crimes. Why aren't they there fucking screaming the whole time and not letting him talk? You know, if they had an actual block, they could pull something like that off. A bad look for Biden as progressives who need to support Biden. Yeah, there it is. There it is. What an absolute fucking disgrace that is. Gonna get some water. I'll be right back, folks. Hell yeah, check this out, chat. Like, maybe more of this. Maybe don't leave your colleague to be the one person doing this. Maybe don't leave her to be the one person in the room doing this. Why is she alone?
Some of these protests officially become Iran's youth.
You know, I think it's fantastic that she's doing this. And she takes an insane amount of shit for doing this kind of stuff. Or her defense of like saying from the river to the sea, etc. And her uncritical support for Palestinians. But I just find it frustrating that you have this whole like progressive caucus. And then you have this speech where this psychotic baby-killing war criminal is addressing Congress. And you have this one person doing this. Yeah, I can't. I sick of because I can't watch it. I can't look at it. It's just so embarrassing. Big standing ovation in the U.S. Congress for this war criminal. Hopefully she'll be remembered as the lone voice that was right, like Barbara Lee was for Iraq, Afghanistan. Yeah, it might take a while for history to come around in the United States, but yeah, I do think that, definitely. Fetterman's wearing a suit for Netanyahu. I hope this motherfucker just moves to Israel. Just move to Israel. God, that fucking guy. 5 years from now, we'll have all these Democrats claiming they were always against this. I mean, you would think, but it's like, I don't understand what it's going to take. This is what I kind of find confusing. Like we were mentioning. We keep talking about this. That clip about the surgeon in Gaza. It's on CBS News. This is no longer, like, their mainstream media is talking about this. And you still can't have any Democrats being like, no more. We still can't have Democrats that are like, no, I'm not associated with this. I'm against this. Like, what the fuck needs to happen exactly for these people to be like, to like realize where the right side of history is? You would think constant streams of footage of dead kids would be enough to persuade some people, you know? It's persuading a whole generation of non-politicians and young people, average people. What needs to happen for the people that actually have power in the government to start distancing themselves from this? It's 10 months. It's been 10 months of this. This is the most accepted genocide, full endorsement from Western powers. It's absolutely insane to see this play out in real time over the last 10 months. Insane. And then for them still to make comments about human rights elsewhere, in Russia or wherever else. And they're still talking about Russia's illegal invasion and Russia's bombs in Ukraine. It's fucking insane. Whatever you think about Putin, whatever you think about Ukraine, objectively, on an objective level, it has been significantly less destructive over a multi-year period at this point than what we've seen in the last 10 months in terms of its destructive nature on civilians and civilian infrastructure. Like all the schools in Gaza being bombed and destroyed, all the hospitals. There's no comparison. Most confusing thing to me is how many leftists who I thought understand things acting like there's a significant chance that Kamala's going to be drastically different than Biden on this. Yeah, I mean, I want to believe that that's a possibility. It wouldn't happen without actual demands being made, like what the Uncommitted campaign is making. I think it will be different than Biden. I think Biden is uniquely bad on this. I think there might be some kind of a shift, but we'll see what kind of a shift that actually is. Whether it's just a rhetorical shift or whether it's actually a difference in the material support that the United States government is offering Israel while they engage in this war. It may be less bad, yeah, but that's an extremely low bar. And that's I think has to be the demand. That has to be the demand for progressives to support this and to say, okay, I'll vote for the Democrats. That's the demand. Nothing less than no more weapons to Israel. End of story. No discussion, no negotiation. No more weapons to Israel or we don't support you. And then you get the weird factionalism brain thing where you see people in PSL shirts or people from People's Forum or wherever answer. It's like, oh, if only PSL hadn't completely taken over this movement. Yeah, it's like, oh no, they're organizing an anti-war movement. Oh no, they're organizing anti-genocide protests. Like, that's a bad thing, I guess. Apparently that's bad. Did you cover the Beijing Declaration? We talked about it very briefly.
You got hit in your life? Let me take the camera. Hold on.
These fucking people. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. I helped Jessica like with some of the filming. Your eyes were closed, so you didn't
Oh my
see
god.
me.
Okay, yeah.
I got some of the behind the scenes.
Yeah. So we're live now.
Are we going to get a little report here? This is just this is such a disgrace. But remember, you got to vote for the Democrats or else fascism might come to America. Fascism might come to America. Now excuse us while we have this bipartisan multi-minute long standing ovation for the world's most notorious war criminal and mass murderer of children.
This is some guy, Rob Russo, some leftist based in Canada. I was turned on to this sick individual, and I found this.
Hello, Majority Report. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate it. Hello. We're just looking at talking about the possible nightmare future where fascism might come to America, and then you have this like notorious baby-killing war criminal getting a massive bipartisan standing ovation from the United States government. It's an absolute disgrace that Netanyahu is
you can count
speaking
on me.
today.
You're gonna have
it's
good
just
old
an
Rob
absolute
to
disgrace.
talk you through all this.
How is the stream? How is the Majority Report stream today?
I got pepper sprayed. Rachel got pepper sprayed. Craig got pepper sprayed. I'm sure you all.
And thank you,
we
Anon,
just
for the
got
gifted
attacked
sub.
For trying to march on Constitution Avenue. The organizers said we have a right under the First Amendment to march on Constitution Avenue to express our right to assemble.
Did you watch any of the speech, Majority Report? I couldn't even watch it. I watched it for about 5 seconds and I just got like unfathomably angry, so I had to just turn it off.
That our government, that Congress, the police, they're not here to protect us. They're not here to govern in our interests. They're here to govern for Netanyahu and for the warmongers, for all the people in Congress that are making money off of this genocide. And I know a number of people were pepper sprayed. I think Eugene was pepper sprayed. But people are still going. I mean, we're still going, you know. No pepper spray is going to stop us. And there's such a palpable feeling of anger here. There was a speaker who was
By the way, Majority
the
Report, I'm Rob,
boiling.
but it's nice to see you. I forgot to introduce myself. I'm too wound up right now.
To the murder of Sonia
Please
Maslin,
smash the follow button.
who was executed by the police in her own home while she was boiling a pot of water. And I don't think there's any better way to describe what people are feeling here now than boiling. We're
Hey,
sick
Dan.
of this. We're sick of our tax money being spent to blow up hospitals, to blow up schools, to kill children. You can see we're still going, so why don't we walk through the crowd? But, I mean, this movement, these people are going home. No amount of pepper spray is sending them home.
If you just came here in the chat, sound off in the chat. If you just came here from the raid. This is like a phantom raid. I'm not seeing any raiders in the chat. Where are you? Raiders, where are you? Where are you at?
This is for our brothers and sisters back home in Gaza and the West Bank. And we just
We got a
want to say
couple.
that we always have
We
your
got a
back.
couple raiders.
We
Okay.
always got you. Humanity humanity is on your side.
Free Palestine!
Until it's backwards. Ain't nothing complicated about it. Free it till it's backwards. Arrest that asshole that's in the Congress right now.
And what do you think? What do
Hell
you think
yeah.
about the fact that the people that
Put
are
this kid
supposed
in
to
Congress.
represent us invited him here?
They're pigs.
Represent our interests.
They're pigs. All of them are pigs. I fucking hate every one of them. Bleep that out. No, I hate every one of them. You're old ass men in office. You don't stand up for women's rights. You make Kamala Harris have to say these things that are just hypocritical of everything that she as a black woman stands for. It doesn't make sense. And the fact that you guys are trying to shut her up in that way, it's injustice in that way too. So
what do you feel about the fact that our government so often talks and preaches about democracy and freedom and all this? Meanwhile, we just got pepper sprayed for protesting.
Look at my arms. I had to put sunscreen on that shit. They're all liars. Police don't care about us. Trump doesn't care about us. It's up to us. We have to stand for ourselves. I learned that from a very young age that no cop is good. No cop is good. You can't trust people nowadays. You can trust only people that you.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
You know the place to get water?
I don't. Sorry. All right. Let's head in. So there's a big rally happening in front of Union Station. This is also the train station that members of Congress will use to get to D.C. It's right across from the Capitol. But it's being blocked. And there are many roadblocks happening throughout the city.
I see you on YouTube all the time. I love your work, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, more politically sound than I was at that age, for sure. Yeah, me too. There's all these fucking Democrats standing ovation to Netanyahu 10 months into this thing. That's what I was asking. Like, what needs to happen? Like, it's great that Rashida Tlaib is in the room protesting this speech, and she has a sign that says "war criminal." But like, how are there still Democrats giving a fucking standing ovation to this guy 10 months into this thing? Like, it's mind blowing to me. I genuinely don't understand what needs to happen for these people to start distancing themselves from this a little bit. It's just been this nonstop stream of constant horror for 10 straight months. A nonstop stream of graphic videos and images of little kids being murdered by U.S. bombs, U.S. manufactured bombs. And you still, 10 months into it, you have Democrats, liberals, giving a standing ovation to the war criminal that's carrying this out. Like, make it make sense. It is crazy. They've got to drop a nuke before they would consider dropping support. But even then, I don't even know. I really don't. They're not even getting that much for selling out. Like, sorry, but in the grand scheme of things, you sell your humanity and country for like $1 million. Come on, know your worth. Well, and a lot of the time, it's just as simple as like, I don't want AIPAC giving money to my opponent. It's like, I'm not even getting any money from anybody. I'm just like, in order to win, I've got to bow down and kiss the ass of this like genocidal apartheid country. So that's what I'm going to do. Pre-Sino-Soviet split foreign policy. When? Yeah, seriously. We need a communist international. And I mean, Alexander, that's exactly why. While I don't think like hedging all of your bets on like multipolarity or whatever is like the thing to do. That's exactly why I'm so interested in it, because the more power these competing blocks start to develop, like we're seeing with this China-Russia partnership and BRICS and all these other countries, they have the ability to actually challenge this. And unfortunately, Russia and is quite supportive of Israel as well. So it's like we have a competing economic and foreign policy bloc right now, but on this, they still have a hard time doing anything to stop it. Even though I have heard some comments from Russia recently, like from Sergei Lavrov, where they're indicating that they don't really want to be involved with it anymore. Israel answers to the U.S., though it's more like a cudgel used in elected officials. I think two things can be true about this, because I think you're right, and we always need to recognize that like the United States is the head of the snake of that kind of entire imperialist system, and Israel is their attack dog and their military based in the Middle East, designed to support Western hegemony and U.S. hegemony there. I do think Israel's like unique relationship with America, though, they're almost like uniquely belligerent. Like they know full well that there's no limit to what they can do, so they don't really act in a way, even when it's going against the interests of America, even when it's destroying America's standing in the world, it's destroying the Biden administration. It's like it's literally making the entire system less stable and less safe, but America can't really do anything about it. It doesn't mean that Israel's in charge of the relationship. America's still in charge of the relationship, but Israel's acting like a colonial subject that knows full well that they're not going to be held accountable for anything. They know full well beyond a shadow of a doubt that there won't be repercussions for anything that they do. So even when it does go against U.S. interests, which I could argue that it's doing right now, they still don't give a shit. The tail is wagging the dog a bit. This is what I mean. So I think we can walk a line, right? Because like then you start getting into the whole like Zionist occupied government, white supremacist shit, which we need to steer away from, obviously. But I think we can also recognize that Israel is a colonial subject that's still not always following like what its primary benefactor wants them to do. It still just shows so shocking to me that Netanyahu's even there. The blob has factions, and so does every organization. Denying Israeli society agency denies them the responsibility they have for what they reaped in Palestine. True. We can recognize the well-documented impacts of the Israel lobby in the framework of neocolonialism under U.S. hegemony. Absolutely, Joe. Senator John Ossoff just walked out of Netanyahu's speech. That's something. He's voting his ass. He's voting his ass off. Are you also under tornado warning? I'm not under tornado warning. The last I checked, I was just under extreme thunderstorm warning. I think this is really like a black mark. Like there's been a lot of awful moments in the United States government, but like I think this is like a historic moment that we will look back on. And future generations will look back on with total horror. Yeah, this is a Nazi Party in Manhattan moment. Absolutely. It is worse than the Canadian Parliament applauding an SS soldier because there's no confusion about this. There's no confusion about it. And what I keep saying is Netanyahu is not even popular. He's not even popular in Israel. I don't fucking understand the need for Democrats to bow down to this guy. No one likes him in his own fucking country. He's obviously corrupt. He's an obvious criminal. He's been accused of war crimes by every like legitimate body that has the ability to research these things. It's so fucked.
Are continuing to show what they really protect. The war criminals of this country and others. They protect profit and property. They do not protect us, the people. In fact, they spent millions of dollars to shut down this city to protect a war criminal. But over and over again, we took over every corner of this city. We made them work. To chase us down. We said we wouldn't give up. We said we wouldn't let Netanyahu come here unchecked. And we showed that
They're not bowing down to him. They're reiterating their support for the project.
responded by pepper spraying and attacking our people. And as I speak,
Well, I guess that's what I mean is like even from like a cynical bullshit liberal politician standpoint, you could still support the project and still there's enough space to distance yourself from the guy that's doing it. Like there's plenty of room in the I support Israel but I don't support Netanyahu camp. Like there's more. It's extremely easy to do that, but my question is why they can't even do that.
From the sea to the river.
No, of course we're not in that camp. That's what I mean, though. Like, there's plenty of space for just to go there, and they can't even do that. It's just bizarre. Hey, Squatch, how's it going? I probably should take a moment. I'm approaching 3 hours going into the stream, folks. So just do a little call to action. As you know, the only way that I'm able to do this show each and every day is by making the little number at the bottom of the screen go up. That's how I am able to do this show. It's entirely listener supported. It's entirely supported by the audience, the listeners, the viewers, the chatters, which is something that I think is like really remarkable and very humbling. It's something that I appreciate a lot. Anyway, so if you do enjoy this content, if you like tuning into this show, if you like being part of the community, if you want to support the work that I do here on Twitch, please subscribe if you can.
You
I'm
can count
halfway
on
to
me.
the sub
You're gonna
goal.
have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
I'm halfway to the sub goal, and every little bit helps. Sikalufakis, thanks for the gifted sub. Anon, thank you for a gifted sub as well.
You can count on me. You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
Yeah, if you can, just please support the work that I do here on Twitch by subscribing. And once again, it's the only way that I can continue doing this show each and every day. It really helps me out a lot. And you can also get all the emotes. You know, I've got some of the very best emotes on this platform. You can join the community. Join the Discord server as well if you're not in there already. I know a lot of people are in like 25 different Discord servers or more. I get it. This really does have a fantastic Discord server, this community.
Rob to
I really recommend you join that as well, which is totally free of charge. Top Scruffy, thank you for the gifted sub as well. Appreciate that, Top Scruffy. 15 subs to go. So once again, folks, if it is possible, please do subscribe and help support the work that I do here. Every little bit helps. You can also gift bits. You can tip. There's all kinds of ways you can support the work that I do here on Twitch. 15 subs to go, though. So if you can, please do subscribe. Help support the work that I do on here. I try not to do these calls to action too much. I don't have any really like advertisements or brand tie-ins or anything like that. It's entirely based on the audience of this show, the community. It's the only way that I'm able to keep doing this. So please do subscribe if you can. Looks like we might be gearing up for some weather here in good old Montreal. We love weather, folks. We're getting weather. Getting lots of weather. Nasty. And the tenth of a cent of and the half a tenth of a percent you get from the ads. They just forced me to sit through despite having a gift sub. I thought having a gift sub was supposed to like get you away from that. That's what I thought. Like, that's what that whole thing is for. Subscribing. What is with this website sometimes? What was the ad for, though, anyways? Was it for, like, Deadpool and Wolverine or something? Oh. You know what time it is, folks.
You
It's
can count on me.
3:13.
You're gonna have good old Rob to talk you through all this.
It's 3:13, and I'm starting to get a little bit fatigued.
You can count on me.
I was up pretty late last
Rob
night as
to,
well. I had
talk you
some
through all this.
some night caffeine last night. which was not my smartest move. I had a one dinner. I actually was drinking Diet Pepsi because that's what came with my meal. Even though I'm more of a Diet Coke fan, I had one Diet Pepsi and then it was like 10, and I was like, you know what? I think what's going to be the harm of cracking open this other Diet Pepsi? And then I was up till about 2 a.m. You watched Furiosa? Yeah, it was so great, Squatch. It was so good. I loved it. I liked it more than I thought I did. Oh, you know, what else I've been watching is Interview with the Vampire. I've been watching the Interview with the Vampire TV series on it's on AMC, and it's quite good. It's very gay. In a good way, though, like as a positive. Complimentary is the word I'm searching for. Yeah, I would definitely recommend it. I've been enjoying it. I'm a big Eric Bogosian head, so as soon as I saw that Eric Bogosian was in there, that made it really interesting and intriguing for me to check out. It's pretty good, though. I'm like midway through the second season now. I watched the first episode of Series 1, and it was very good. The end was tragic and thrilling within the space of 10 minutes. Yeah, it is definitely worth checking out. Absolutely. And I would continue watching it if you enjoyed the first episode. What's going on, Joe? You being blacklisted? What time is it for me? It is 3:15 p.m. 3:16. And around 3 p.m. sometimes I start to getting a little EP. It might be close to time for my nap. It might be close to nap time for good old Rob, folks. We're gonna do this sleep stream. You're gonna watch me sleep. Because I can't leave until the number goes up more, so you can watch me sleep.
You've just become an elite member of the Friendship Triangle.
Oh my goodness, M Gauntlet. M Gauntlet, thank you so much for 5 gifted subs. Very, very cool. Thank you, M Gauntlet. That's what I'm talking about. I really appreciate that. Thank you. The Friendship Triangle, that's right. Ayacha. That's absolutely right. The Friendship Triangle. It's Twitch's only 2-dimensional, triangle-shaped friendship access and trickle-down clout tiered reward system. And if you are new, if you just raided in, if you are, not familiar, if you're a lurker, if you're not familiar with the community, I do have a little orientation onboarding video if you want to check that out. 8 subs away from the goal. Hopefully this video will convince you that you should be supporting this show and joining this community. I have some fun news. Ms. Squatch and I are close to adopting a new kitty for the house. Just need to fill out some paperwork and then bring her home. That's fantastic. I look forward to having a new official pet of TRRS. I'm happy to hear that, Squatch. The lib gaslighting on Kamala being popular is getting just sad. I don't know. I mean, there's elements of truth to it. They've raised a shitload of money. I think the polls are starting to look pretty good. There's an element of truth to it, but I think the fact that we're begging Kamala to stop the largest
Wow,
mass
okay,
murder
Rob,
of children that we've seen in our
seriously,
lifetimes is fucking sad. Oh my goodness, Squatch. Oh my goodness gracious. Squatch, thank you for 10 gifted subs. That is extremely kind and generous of you. Thank you, Squatch. Kitten subs, the best kind. The best kind of subs. I mean, I did promise the onboarding video. We're at the goal. It is just a suggestion. As people have pointed out before, when I do get to 50 subs, I do sing a little song. So if you do want to still subscribe, you still can. And if you're a lurker, if you're a raider, if you're not a regular in the community, I did create this little onboarding orientation video to help you explain what it's all about. So I'll just put that on because I did say that I was going to put it on.
Thank you for expressing interest in the Friendship Triangle community. We would be thrilled to have you on board as a member of our exclusive platform. As you may know, the Friendship Triangle is Twitch's only two-dimensional, triangle-shaped, friendship access and trickle-down cloud, tiered reward system. Today you have an amazing opportunity to join the base level of the Friendship Triangle system. Once you are part of the community, you'll have the ability to rise through the ranks and achieve higher levels of access and rewards. One way to do this is by gifting subscriptions to your fellow members or by inviting your friends and family members to join our community. As you ascend the tiers, you will be exposed to a range of new and exciting benefits, such as exclusive content, advanced features, and access to our elite community members. We are confident that you will enjoy all the perks that come with being part of the Friendship Triangle. However, we also want to remind you that not all friends and family members are to be trusted, especially those who may not support your new lifestyle. That's why we encourage you to focus on building meaningful relationships within our community, where you will find like-minded individuals who share your interests and values. If you have any questions or
Squatch, you can
concerns,
attest to all
please
of
don't
this.
hesitate to reach out to our team. We are always here to support our members and ensure that your experience with the Friendship Triangle is enjoyable. We're glad that you are considering joining the Friendship Triangle community. We look forward to seeing you rise through the Chaos Zone and all the way into the Elite tier. It's not a cult.
There we go. That's TRRS. That's the Friendship Triangle. That's what the community is all about. So yes, we did reach the sub goal, and that's absolutely fantastic. If you do still want to, if you're still find yourself unsubbed and on the outside looking in of the Friendship Triangle system, please do subscribe if you can. I've met several TRRS team members, and they're all very wonderful. We're still going to have to do a big meetup one day. It's too bad I couldn't go to Chicago. I mean, I really did want to go to Chicago to the DNC. It would have been great to be able to go and to meet some of you folks there. As you know, being a parent, it takes precedence over all my other stuff, so that's what it came down to. But we're going to do it sometime, though. If you sub, Rob becomes your friend, and he'll help pick you up from the airport, help you move, etc. Exactly. Exactly. Just looking around here, what else is going on Twitch? Rob was actually banned from American soil for certain things that happened in 1992. Yeah, exactly. They brought me in to practice against the Dream Team before they went to Barcelona, and I ritualistically humiliated some of the members. And they said, we can't let this guy in the country anymore. He's demoralizing the Dream Team before they go to Barcelona. We thought this guy was just going to be an empty pylon for we could dunk on. And Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan, Larry Bird. They were all crying, upset. They said, we can't let this guy come to America anymore. We can't let this guy in. This is outrageous. Well, that's gonna do it for me for today, folks. Thanks again for tuning in. It was absolutely fantastic to hang out with you all again today. Thanks so much for the support to everyone who tunes into this program. I really appreciate it a lot. I would like to do some longer streams. I know last summer I did a couple of like 6, 7, 8, 9 hour ones. I just do not have the energy to do it. I don't know how I was doing it before. I've done a few of those really long streams and I don't even hate doing it, but I do not have the energy. Anyway, thanks, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Do longer streams with some gaming mixed in there. That was when I've ever been able to do it. Like that's how I was the only way I was able to pull it off is by like segmenting it. Remember, like we would come in, we would do about an hour and a half to 2 hours of man tracker discussion, then like a regular episode of TRRS, then like a longer video to watch, then some gaming. It's really got to be broken up into segments. It's the only way. Thank you for giving so much of yourself to us and the cause. I wouldn't say I'm giving very much up to the cause. I mean, there's people that are doing significant, like doing actual work in that respect. But I'm happy to do this show. I'm happy to have this community. I'm happy to have a platform to talk about these things. You know? And I'm happy that there's a community of people that tune into this program. I think that's actually fantastic. Retract your thanks. I'm once again going to do my part to try and lift up some more unknown Twitch streamers, you know? People that are just trying to get started. People that are just starting out in this platform that maybe don't have the same kind of clout that I do. Try and make sure they get the exposure, you know? I'm always trying to help out the little guy on this platform every time I can, so... Thank you, Joe. That's right. That's a good example of how this relationship works. You know what? I'm sure Hassan is going to be watching clips of the Netanyahu speech, and I'm sure he's going to be on one today. So, I mean, he had a good tweet about this where he called all the Democrats cucks for supporting this. So, I think it would be a good time to tune into Hassan. I don't doubt that he's going to be hooting and hollering today, so... And you know, if a few Hassan listeners decide to go and check me out and check out this stream and maybe come into a stream where there's maybe less going on, you know, a little bit more ability to differentiate from the horde, so maybe that wouldn't be so bad either. Did I raid? Looks like it.